Good morning and welcome to Judging by the Cover, the gaming review show where I rate games that I have not played and score them based on the store pages. Now, today I have decided to go ahead and do something a little different because things have been really busy. I haven't been able to get things queued up ahead of time. But today, the day of recording this and the day that I am streaming on Twitch with this, was this showcase that they called the Wholesome Direct that was put up to YouTube that includes some games that I had been keeping my eye on and a couple that like one or two that I have actually played, even right here on our YouTube channel. But I wanted to go ahead and take a look at this and just see how the Wholesome Direct is portraying and presenting everything that they have to offer. So we're going to be going through and looking at the entirety of this, taking pauses and breaks just to kind of get a little feel for each individual thing that we see. Starting off with a nice little showcase of just the video and the graphics, and then at the end of it, I'll go ahead and rate the entirety of the Direct with its own score once we get to it. Overall, the Wholesome Direct, just from this little intro sequence, is already just screaming all kinds of good, wholesome, cozy vibes.
Welcome to Wholesome Direct 2026, your annual summertime celebration of joyful, thoughtful.
And apparently they're run by an actual wholesomegames.com.
And we have got a jam-packed show for you today, filled with first looks, news, and world premieres. So get ready to add to your wish lists. If a game, or two, or three catches your eye,
You know what?
want to learn more about it, make sure to visit wholesomegames.com
I should
right after the show for links and details to every title.
I better write down the games that I particularly want to keep note of.
Let's see what's in store for our first announcement.
Oh yes, let's see what we got first here.
A cozy game about making dresses, inspired by real-world dressmaking. Meet a range of clients who need outfits for different occasions. Take their measurements and adjust the mannequin to their exact size. Design the dresses in your sketchbook, cut out each panel, pin the pieces, and sew it all together. Choose from a wide range of notions and haberdashery. Deliver your creations to your clients and build relationships to gain prestige with each dress. Unlocking new fabrics and accessories from the Emporium. Make the dresses you've always dreamed of. In Dressmaker, coming to Steam this September.
Okay, so the first game that we're seeing here is Dressmaker. Frankly, not a game that I think I would really be interested in, although I do see the audience and the appeal here. For people that so there are other games that are probably of a little bit of a similar vein. I'm getting kind of the similar feel as like unpacking or those kinds of like simple crafting and management games, maybe like Tiny Bookshop, where you have some direct customer interaction, but the whole point is to fill the customer's request. Or Animal Crossing's Happy Home Designers. I kind of feel like there's that little bit of inspiration here where people who like that style of gameplay and maybe want like a more craft driven type of thing to it, like that's analogous to real world inspirations of fashion. This could be an interesting little dive into that sort of dynamic.
Now on Steam.
Hey everyone, I'm
So again,
Annabelle, the
not
creator
something
of
that I'd be going for myself, but
and today
I
we
can
are
see
ready to show
where
you
people
our
would like it.
This is Book
Book Nook. Oh, now that is cute. That's like a little life story on a diorama kind of situation. Okay, so Book Nook, quick pause there. Book Nook, that one looked like another kind of game. Like I just made the comparison to Unpacking with the other one. I feel like this one might be a little more like that in that kind of cozy room building thing. But I've seen other games that have a similar kind of room construction and room layout kind of dynamic that they seem very bare bones. Book Nook looks like it might actually have a little bit more dynamic to its to potential storytelling in there, the way they portrayed that trailer.
My name is Min, and I go by Min's Meadow on socials. I'm a cozy game content creator with a passion for farming sims, but I play a variety
I can
of
appreciate
easy,
the
casual
farming
games.
sim
I have a welcoming
enthusiast.
community where many of us
I
are
have been
Robot
playing a little too
Virgin.
much
I'm on
Stardew. It's been
YouTube,
distracting from
Twitch,
my other
and TikTok,
projects.
and I'm a co-host of Slow Burn, a cozy game podcast. Next up is a beloved cozy game that shared its first ever trailer in Wholesome Direct 2023. It's
Okay,
back
so this
with
Wholesome
a
Direct thing has been
big
going on for a while, and
announcement.
it just did not hit my radar. Okay, I think this is probably the game that alerted me to the existence of this Wholesome Direct was Fields of Mystria. Quite frankly, if you guys haven't played it yet, if you have the opportunity, by all means, go ahead and jump on that. Uh, I believe they announced that wait, you can ride the chicken? I know you can ride the large animals, but you can ride the chicken now? Hey, Stillwell, who the heck are you? Okay, new characters are being added. We did know marriage was on the way. Oh my gosh, Juniper has a baby. That's adorable. Combat, okay, that combat is already in there with those creatures. Yes. So some of this is what's been in the game. Oh, Lynette, that's a new character too. So I believe that this is probably tied. Oh, full release 1.0 update, August 5th, 2026. That is going to be an important day. Um, I did put my previous Fields of Mystria on a bit of a hiatus just because I was having some game crashes. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to wait for the 1.0 so that I can go in and do like a fresh game save from the very beginning once again. Um, Instead of doing the day to day, I may do them like a week at a time, and have like like Monday uploads for week like a week of the gameplay in in the thing instead of doing a one by one kind of thing, just to try and pace myself a little bit more for production. But I do plan on visiting this on the full release once it comes out, and I am actually very excited to go ahead and be able to straight up finish the game. I know some of the things that are missing from the current build of the game is like the last 5 levels of the town's renown and the marriage and children has been on hold. So they're basically bringing in those last thresholds plus whatever other content comes from that. I'm sure the official website has more, but we are reviewing based on what we see here. And this direct giving us the update or the release date and some of that information, some of that little teaser there is very enticing for the people that have been keeping up with this game. I would be
We are
especially
just getting started, but I wanted
enthusiastic to
take a
see
moment to
if they
highlight
go
this
and
year's
announce
fundraiser.
anything
We're
in the
teaming up
coming
with
days
Yeti
for
to offer
console
2
releases.
exclusive shirts celebrating Wholesome Direct 2026. A portion of each sale will benefit Transgender Law Center.
Aw.
Transgender
Okay,
Law
so the
Center is a
graphics we saw at the
trans-led
beginning was the
organization
Wholesome
championing
Direct's
the rights of all transgender and gender
own
nonconforming
structure, like
people
own
to make
organization, their
choices and
artwork
live
and stuff.
safely, freely, and authentically. Prioritizing BIPOC, disabled, and HIV-positive communities, they envision a world where transgender liberation intersects with racial, economic, and social justice. If you'd like to support this organization and get our exclusive 2026 shirts, be sure to visit wholesomegames.com.
Okay, I do appreciate their promotion here.
In our life sim MMO, Spirit Crossing. Discover a mountain village bustling with odd spirits,
Spirit Crossing, a life sim MMO.
with big personalities. Befriend the spirits by piecing together their broken past. Repair, decorate, and expand your mountainside home. Join a way station, plan epic orchards, build creative mega projects, or even throw fashion shows to unleash your inner fashionista. Make new friends or invite your own. Hop on a fluffalo to harvest together, or host a jam session. Explore the soaring heights and tranquil valleys of a new mountain peak every few days, and build launch pads to blaze new trails. Each day brings new co-op minigames to play. Catch fish, paint murals, rave with spirits, and weather the storms together. open beta starts now on Steam.
Join the playtest for free. Okay, so this one, Spirit Crossing. I'm actually going to write this one down. Spirit Crossing. So a cozy life sim MMO, so a massive multiplayer online game that focuses on spirits and building connections and having that kind of more of a community gameplay as opposed to, I guess, as opposed to like RPG progression grind, which honestly, that kind of social setting could be very, very much like how to describe. Pardon if the phrasing seems a little like cringe inducing or whatever, but I'm very much getting the impression that they want this to be just kind of a nice little social experience for the players, the way they're presenting this. I am getting a little bit of an impression, like inspirations of Cozy Grove. I did play some Cozy Grove, just to kind of try it out. I had it on the Switch. I got it on very cheap sale. Now, graphically and gameplay wise, it is clearly very different, but some of the like the spirit bears having like that box shaped design does kind of remind me of Cozy Grove. And with it being like a spirit driven narrative of how they're presenting the characters, it does look pretty cool. And the characters, it looks like they do provide a lot of customization for the characters for the sake of the player's own expression. Like that's what it looks like that's what they're focusing on is the characters having that self-expression on that digital platform. So they're saying that the playtest is already open for free on Steam. So for people interested, that could be something very very worthwhile to look into.
Hi, Wholesome Direct. I'm Etienne Watson. I'm a queer. Variety streamer plays mostly cutesy games, and if they're not cutesy, well, I
That is
simply
quite a
love
self
them cutesy.
oh,
It's that easy. And it's such an honor and a privilege to be a part of the
I have
Wholesome
literally
Direct
never seen
and
this
to get
guy
to
before,
introduce the next game. Work
but
together to build a new
he
home
looks
with
like
your animal
he
friends
looks
in
like
this next world premiere.
he looks like he has a very performance driven personality that just loves to ham it up for the camera, and honestly, I appreciate that dynamic. All right, already the graphic style here, I'm already loving it. It looks like a Tanuki building and crafting game. Tinker Nest. Huh. Well, there's another one I got to put on my radar. Oh. It looks like there's some dungeon delving to go with it too. All right, Tinker Nest is looking like another one along the lines of like the like that creator Ian was just saying on a very cutesy scale with a little bit of a twist. Like, it looks like there's some dark exploration, not dark theming. I don't think it doesn't look that way, but it does look like they do have some atmospheric settings to to dive into while you're in there. And spellcolativit? Huh. Okay, that is certainly a name. But that's another one to look into. And honestly, the graphic style alone already kind of has me interested. I do like the very intentionally designed pixel
My
art.
dear little vampire. How's life in Moonlight Peaks? I hope you're settling in okay. You've always been one to do things your own way. I guess that's what took you there in the first place. But know that I'm glad you're there. That old farm could really use some love. Have you met Fiona yet? I'll bet she's grown into a fine witch since we left. Maybe she can teach you a thing or two. Are you trying new hobbies? Don't forget to take time for yourself.
Oh,
And
interesting.
have some fun. Make new friends and maybe even meet someone someone special? Anyway, I'm sure you've got many adventures waiting for you. Maybe your dad and I can visit sometime. Until then, take care of yourself and say hi to Hell Kitten. Love, Mom. Download the demo today.
All right, another one where the demo is already out, Moonlight Peaks. I'm gonna write that one down. Now, I'm not necessarily certain that this is one that I would get into. Moonlight Peaks, but it does look like it gives an interesting, dark, gothic, but cute twist on the farming sim game, along with the typical town village characters, romance and friendship options. So a lot of that kind of par for the course for what I would expect for this, and the way they present it is very straightforward, very matter of fact. It looks like they want to impress on you to know what to expect going in. And for people that like those farming sim games, I can see where they would already kind of appreciate it. Maybe the kind of players who liked Wildflower. I think Wildflower was another one that had some popularity to it. That was one that didn't really click with me so much. The store, I never bought it or played it, but the store page was kind of like, I'm kind of leaned against that one for my own taste. But this one, it looks maybe kind of like in that vein, or for people that may have played or looked into Fae Farm, it looks like it might be more similar to that as far as its physical presentation goes. The graphic style does kind of have that 3D animated but top-down view, like Fae Farm did. Whether or not the progression, they don't really hint too much at your progression and everything, but it looks like they do have some other systems in there, like the flower arrangement as like a whole separate decorating thing. And so what looked like some charming characters, even though we only got a very brief glance at them. And they really seem to be leaning into their setting and their aesthetic with it, with the three-eyed cat and the like, even the sheep. Like farming games having like your sheep, your cow, your chicken, or some kind of fantasy-esque equivalent to it. But this one, the sheep had the vampire fangs. Like, oh, okay, cool. You're getting vampire farm animals. That's kind of neat. Um, so for people that liked Fae Farm, this might be something to put an eye out for.
Hi, Wholesome Direct. I'm Yans with Yans Cozy Arcade, art teacher by day, cozy gamer by night. On my channel, I break down games, share first looks, and keep you in the loop on all things gaming news because everyone deserves to know what's going on in our little world. It's a space where you feel
They're giving they're giving some highlights to a lot of content creators and promoters for these things.
Face of wider challenges in this game, all about fixing the internet in space.
Wait, fixing the internet in space. From the creator of Sable? Okay. Oh. They're like a space trucker? In the Drift. All right, this one's going on my list. Okay, this one is very much giving some heavily coded vibes for its atmospheric character and story presentation here. And then them highlighting beforehand that this is about fixing the internet in space. It's giving like that bit of a sci-fi setting, but in a kind of set of familiar themes.
Developers and publishers for making today's show possible. Thank you for your generous support. It means the world to us.
Oi. Oh my gosh, a capybara?
We've described this game as Untitled Goose Game meets Spirited Away.
All I knew about it was there was a capybara, so instantly I knew it was going to be wonderful.
I feel like Cappy is a
cozy game because if there's like a lot of opportunities to explore and play around, there isn't like dexterity checks.
So for folks who have a partner or a child who you're like, I really want to get you interested and playing interactive media, how do I do this? This is a very approachable way because there is someone who can
Happy
lead
Castaway.
and someone who is also there just having fun.
I want people to feel impacted by the story. I hope they laugh.
I hope they feel the whimsy, and I hope they also feel the intention that we put into the story.
I hope they feel mischievous.
Okay, this Happy Castaway, I know they said like Spirited Away meets Untitled Goose Game. I'm kind of also getting a similar vibe of uh Goat Simulator, except like not as on it definitely has better direction than Goat Simulator. Then again, Goat Simulator was kind of made as like just a joke of a physics engine. This one, it looks like they have a little bit of that, but like they said with the Untitled Goose Game, I could see where they had that inspiration in there in moving objects around, interacting with other characters to maybe complete goals or checklists. Demo coming soon for this one, but Cappy Castaway, I do appreciate that they emphasize too that this is it's meant to be like a cozy, wholesome experience that it does sound like they want to target a younger audience with this. So if you have younger kids who are interested in games, this could be one that they would appreciate to kind of get in, experiment with things that don't put too much of a skill check on them. Because honestly, not every game has to be a massive skill check or meta knowledge or thing like that. Things can be just kind of made to be enjoyed, but where you learning and understanding the game still rewards you as a player with whatever completion checklist. Otherwise, there's still the option to just kind of chill and relax in the game's setting. And this one does look like it offers that. I do like the direction they go here, the way they kind of voice their stuff, and they show their developers. They want their developers to be a part of that community as well. That I can tell. Oh my gosh, Discounty? Okay, I don't know if anybody out there remembers, but I did actually review Discounty on this channel.
But don't you think it's time you made some real decisions?
New final chapter.
Change. But how it changes,
3 new endings.
you. Restore the town or crush their spirit. So, what are you waiting for?
Huh. Self-checkout. Online orders. Interesting. Upgrade housing.
It's something every business owner has to decide. People or profit.
Oh, out now on Steam. Console update comes in July, which is not that far away. That's only about a month, maybe a little longer depending on when in July. But so it's a free expansion, it's a free update, kind of like how I know Stardew has had so many updates to the thing. It looks like Discounty is trying to expand their gameplay and their appeal to it. I think in its original reception, I did see a little bit of discourse online where people were a little disappointed with how narrow the end game can be. But maybe this is something that, like, with this kind of thing, they've expanded on it. They've taken that feedback and made it where maybe there's a little more diversity to your player experience, depending on how you choose to weigh community versus profit and expansion. So I could see that being quite a way to go here. It looks like they're actually expanding it. In fact, uh, like I said, I do remember specifically reviewing this game on this channel. Um, the whole playlist of my backlog is on there. I'm sure if you were to look up the Neophytes Discounty in the YouTube search bar, it'd probably pop it up there too. But I remember my initial impressions of this were pretty positive, and this is exactly the kind of thing where if I were to look at it today, that would probably increase the score that I have for the game. Like I was already kind of interested in it. I've got it kind of on my radar. Um, so that, if it were to go on sale and it's like I find myself with having the time and the capacity to give to it that I feel like the game deserves, having the option to jump in with even more content than what it had before would probably just feel even better as a first experience.
Hey, Wholesome Direct.
I'm Anna.
I'm Jazz.
I'm Ash, and we're stumped.
We love playing games together.
Whether it's helping each other through co-op adventures or trying to one-up each other in competitive party games,
or even if it's all of us doing silly voices for characters while playing single-player indie games.
our channel calls back to a time.
I had to pause it right there because doing silly voices for characters when you're doing your single player games. I don't know how many of you out there have been watching like the Stardew or Mystria or Reciteer videos. That's kind of a bread and butter around here, isn't it?
When you would get together with your best buds, sit on your comfy couch, and play games for hours.
And you're welcome to come sit on our couch too. The more the merrier.
Now, grab your friends, a camera, and keep your arms and legs inside the minecart while we take a look at our next game.
Oh. Minecart tourist? Hang out with other tourists. Explore dungeons. Oh my gosh, it's Pokemon Snap. No quotas, no game overs, just join and make some friends. It's multiplayer Pokemon Snap. Dungeon tourists. Okay, wish list on Steam. All right. Dungeon tourists. All right, so getting just a quick dive into this one. I know I keep pausing this. I did say that I was going to do that for these. The way that the trio introed this game was already kind of hilarious in its own right. It was very corny, very much a kind of like attitude and vibe that you would expect out of them. Whether or not that's your humor, like you could think that it was just some dumb, corny humor, and I kind of agree, but at the same time, I love those kind of jokes. I love the people that have that little air of silliness to them. And then it dives into a game where you go through a dungeon and take photos, and you get the photos of monsters, traps, maybe some of the environment actually interacts with you. You're in there with other, it sounds like you're in the game with other players, which honestly, that sounds like a recipe for hilarity right there. If I can get some friends in on this one, I would absolutely sit down with this game and give it a go. I'd like to see what kind of a price comes out at launch. Now, when I was a kid, I know I instantly made the Pokemon Snap comparison because let's be real, you're going through a tracked stage and taking photos. That's Pokemon Snap. When I was a kid, I played the ever loving shit out of Pokemon Snap on the Nintendo 64. Decades later, we got Pokemon Snap on the Nintendo Switch, a new Pokemon Snap. I thought it looked good, but I didn't really see the gameplay loop being that exciting or fulfilling for me as a player, so I skipped over it, especially for the price tag that you have for those kinds of games. If this one comes through at like a lower indie game price tag, alongside the experience of getting to do these little dungeon runs while you're bantering and having a good time with your friends working on these completion goals, I could see this being a very interesting experience, specifically to have with friends. And if maybe not even just friends, but if they have an option to go in there and like if I pop on Twitch and stream this and other people have the game on Twitch and they can join as well, it could be a way for people to play with viewers and with their community. So I could see that being an interesting game in that regard too. The way that kind of Among Us was for that time that it became really popular. I don't know if this would reach the level of popularity that Among Us had, but it could at least be an interesting little dynamic for how they presented this. It's a very simple art style. I know the art might not be up everybody's lane, but I feel like the community and the gameplay aspect of it can make up for the art, especially because it does say coming soon, so it's not like everything is completely finalized. I know the graphics are probably going to stay pretty close to what they're at, but at the same time, the number of assets, the variety of creatures, that can always grow over time as well. But again, this one is absolutely on my radar.
Wholesome Direct. I'm Glasses Journal, your little ray of sunshine VTuber, and this right here is my friend Sprout, and we're both so excited to be here.
Glasses Journal. There's a name.
Weekly on Twitch, where we check out a variety of games and celebrate their beauty and creativity, from retro classics that we grew up playing to new and exciting releases that definitely become our new hyperfixation for weeks at a time. And hey, speaking of new releases,
I'm sorry, she's calling me out. I feel like she's calling me out on this one. The whole like freaking hyperfixation for weeks or months, depending on how much time you can put in. Welcome to Four Leaf Fields. Okay, already. Oh wow. Those are some huge ass crops. Care for your bug friends? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. A miniature farming sim? I hope the novelties of farm life. This is our community kitchen. Whole again. Gossips. Oh. Oh wow, Luke did not appreciate that. Explore a giant world. Oh my gosh, they have multiplayer too? Okay, this is going on the radar. Four Leaf Fields. Join the first playtest and wishlist now. Okay. Four Leaf Fields. Okay, Glasses Journal introed this one and very much made it seem like, yeah, this is looking for hyperfixation games. At first I'm like, okay, I get kind of Stardew Valley Fields of Mystery vibes here, kind of by the numbers for farming sims, and then I realized, holy shit, the crops are ginormous. Wait, your farm animals are bugs? You're playing as a tiny little you're playing as a tiny little like a Hilda style elf kind of character, but farming regular sized crops. I'm sold. Four Leaf Fields, that is going straight on the radar. That one, and it does say playtest. Join the first playtest and wishlist now. So that's going to be one I'm going on my Steam account to give that a closer look.
The next 3 titles you'll see are part of Wholesome Games Presents, our publishing label that offers marketing support to some of our favorite up-and-coming developers. If you'd like to learn more about the titles we work with and never miss a beat, please visit wholesomegames.com and sign up for our monthly newsletter.
All right, so they got their own little newsletter thing. What an amazing year it's been.
The nearly 1 million players who found a place in their heart for Is the Seat Taken?
Oh, Is the Seat Taken?
Of hilariously particular people.
I have seen.
We're proud to announce Is the Seat Taken?
Most relatable game in the world.
This August.
Oh, I have seen this game pop up in the eShops.
Transform an abandoned island into a bunny paradise in Usagishima.
Wow, that is some very busy graphic design.
Craft a cozy retreat like no other by building cute shops and landscape features. and entice fluffy visitors to stick around by incorporating toys, plants, and charming decor. Capture adorable memories by using the photo feature and get to know each bunny through activities like feeding, brushing, and playing with them. Under the right conditions, you just might meet rare and special bunnies as they pay a visit to your island. Perfect for anyone wanting to unwind and create a delightful bunny sanctuary, we're proud to share Usagi Shima is coming to Steam in October 2026.
Huh. Okay, so Usagi Shima here. Just to go ahead and highlight what I'm getting on this one. Now, maybe not one on my radar, but graphically with how the landscape is laid out and how everything is kind of laid on top of it, it does kind of remind me of Cozy Grove, which graphically speaking can be very hit or miss with how you try to like navigate and interact with the world, but this one does appear to be more of a top-down, like kind of like a Sim City style manager. It doesn't look like you're actually on the ground with a player avatar interacting with the world. More like you're building and kind of like I said before, had that Sim City type of aesthetic, or not aesthetic, but gameplay style to it. But with that individual level where you build the shops, you build the landscape, and then observe and interact with the inhabitants as they move in, which does look like it has its own interesting dynamic. I do like the direction they're going here. Again, not something that I think would be on my radar, but for if there's people out there who really did like Cozy Grove, or who just love the cozy games, they want that rabbit aesthetic, very low pressure kind of gameplay loop. It does look like it could be up the alley for those players.
Hi everyone, I'm Dorian.
And my name is Dorian too.
We made Minami Lane in the past, and now we're working on a new game called Milky
Minami.
Delivery.
So,
Milky Delivery, okay.
is a short but satisfying adventure game. You play as Neha, a young bike courier, traveling across beautiful landscapes.
Deliver milk to a bunch of friendly villagers. Take care of your pet cow Milky and heal the community. Upgrade your bike to travel faster and farther to new destinations.
Oh.
Manage your resources and experiment with different flavors like strawberry or milk tea.
With each delivery, you learn more about the region, its people, and what happened to all the other cows.
The demo is now live on Steam, so if you want to support us, go check it out and wishlist the game. Merci!
Okay, some international developers there with Milky Delivery. Honestly, cute, charming, and it looks like they do have a bit of a kind of progression. Like they're showing the progression loop with the game up front, which is kind of cool. I kind of get the impression it does remind me a little bit of Spiritfarer, not so much with the death and afterlife aspect of it, but as far as the progression is concerned, where it looks like you go through, you unlock areas, get advanced character stories as you make your deliveries. It just kind of has that similar gameplay feel to it from what I'm seeing in this trailer and in their presentation. I'm going to go ahead and note this one down. They do say the demo is available. Milky Delivery. But it does look like something that is going to have coming this year too. They're planning on getting it out this year. So for a full release, it would be kind of cool to see how this advances, how it goes, and to get kind of that nice countryside village kind of story. And very much I don't know if this is just from having been spent too many years watching a lot of anime or something, but I do also like the Japanese countryside aesthetic and the folklore inspiration that comes from that. They do look like they very lovingly designed the backgrounds.
Don't worry about taking notes unless you want to. After the show, visit wholesomegames.com for a handy list of all the games.
And here I am taking notes like a sucker because they have it on their own website.
Enjoy the show without stressing about missing any info.
Hey folks, I'm Adrian, and together with the rest of the team, I'm very excited to show for the
Oh my
first
gosh, their
time
team is full of
after 9 years
goofballs.
of letting it cook, the sequel to Hidden Folks.
Hidden Folks 2. Oh. Is it? Are these the actual sound effects from the game? Oh my gosh. If these are the actual sound effects of the game.
Sign up at hiddenfolks.com or wishlist on Steam.
Holy. Oh, wow. Just missed. Okay, so the Hidden Folks 2, I need to know. I need to know. I'm gonna take a quick pause here. I know we're looking at Jenny again here. Steam. I need to see what the price point is on this Hidden Folks. It looks like it is an incredibly simple game. Which, okay, it's not a bad thing for how simple it is. The sound effects, I do find, personally, I find it a little grating. But just because I don't like it doesn't mean that it's, that doesn't mean it's bad. Hidden Folks. Okay, $15 for the first ones. Oh, DLC mouth sounds. So buy Hidden Folks plus mouth sounds pack. Okay. Bundle with Nippets? Similar graphic style, but with color? Okay. And then Lost and Found is another one, similar graphic style. So they do have a couple of bundles with others, but so it's basically a find the hidden object or character game. Search for hidden folks in hand-drawn interactive miniature landscapes. Unfurl tent flaps, cut through bushes, slam doors, poke some crocodiles. Roar. So 32 hand-drawn areas, 300 plus targets to find, 2,000 mouth originated sound effects, over 500 unique interactions, 3 color modes. Oh, normal, sepia, and night mode. Okay. Steam Cloud integration, Steam trading cards, 22 languages translated by the community. So the whole mouth sounds thing, like it does, I could see myself getting a little annoyed with it after a while, but it does also look like the kind of game that you could play without audio, if that is a thing. If you like the look of it, like I can appreciate artistically where they were going with it, where they go ahead and hand drew their assets and put them into the game. And it looks like everything in there is animated too. So everything has like a little bit of frame. So you kind of get the idea of getting into this and looking around to find the hidden characters while you're appreciating like the art that went into it. And again, it looks like I would probably get annoyed pretty quickly with the audio. And the gameplay is not something, it's not the kind of gameplay that I personally get into, like hide and seek games or hidden object games, not quite my thing. But it is an interesting twist on those kinds of hidden object games where people that want like that little bit of quirky humor with it can easily find themselves at home in there. And the fact that this is a sequel, it suggests to me that their first one got enough push on it, or enough push, enough publicity for them to feel like it warranted a follow up. So, you know what? I am happy to see that the developers went and had some success with that. Honestly, I do hope that even if it's not my kind of game, I'd like to, see people make do, or not make do,
gadgets to collect resources,
see people follow through with their dreams like that.
and unravel the mystery of your Uncle Lou's disappearance. This exclusive release date trailer has another surprising
Ooh,
story.
release date
So
trailer.
stay tuned as we explore Lou's Lagoon.
Okay, Lose Lagoon. So character driven.
Luz Lagoon is a cozy exploration and crafting
Ooh.
adventure. Explore the Limbo Archipelago, home to vibrant communities and ancient secrets.
Huh. Okay, I'm getting kind of a Summer and Mara impression here with extra building.
And decorate your island base to make it feel like home.
Luz Lagoon, August 27th. Okay. This looks like another one where hit or miss whether or not it's going to be on my radar, but it does kind of give a little bit, like, graphically and thematically, it looks like it has a little bit of a Summer and Mara feel to it. And it does look good, like having some base customization going.
Fully customize your avatar with unique hairstyles, outfits, and accessories. Then, take to the skies in your very own seaplane with vibrant skins and
Oh, you can customize your seaplane too. Oh.
And put it all together to unravel the mystery.
So it looks like it also has some of that like that Wii Sports Resort airplane mini game in there.
Hey, Wholesome Direct.
That's pretty cool, pretty charming.
But online, I'm known as Vanina Gabriella. I run a YouTube channel talking all about my favorite farming, Japanese culture, and fashion-related video games. I love video games with a lot of creativity, a lot of passion, and a good storyline. But in addition to that, I love making mini vlogs talking about my life relating to Japanese culture. But coming up is a first look at a game that is all about helping folks see something new in the mirror and in themselves.
Oh, hey, Rogue Ruggy. So, back in there. Pardon the delay. We had a little hiccup with YouTube being stupid. A second time it was doing that to me tonight. So I'm going to have to go ahead and do a quick little cut edit. So, like a Beast Folk barbershop game. People say it's not real dating unless it's in pieces. Okay. Opus, Prism Peak. Two heads at once. Hold and drag. Okay. Every cut uncovers something real. So, Beast Folk Barber. Oh, whoa. Okay, that was an interesting little reveal at the end. Like, it looks like they're mostly playing in some anthro character fashion and style stuff. So it's a creative take on a game about style and characters. And then the way they throw in that kind of like looks like some kind of an ethereal monster creature or monster person just phasing in. So that was kind of an interesting little reveal on the end.
In case you missed it, we're collaborating with the Yeti to offer shirts that celebrate Wholesome Direct 2026 and support Transgender Law Center. Transgender Law Center is a trans-led organization championing.
All right, this is another one of their promotion of their
own choices and live freely,
for their organization.
They believe that everyone's liberation is interconnected and that none of us are free until all of us are free. When you purchase one or both of this year's designs, a portion of each sale will benefit Transgender Law Center's work, using community-driven strategies that harness trans.
And honestly, those designs are absolutely adorable.
To ensure they not only survive but thrive at all ages and phases of life. Visit wholesomegames.com to order now.
Oh! The Wandering Village. We've removed this one now. The Last Leviathan. So there's an expansion? Okay, I do remember reviewing this game on Judging by the Cover. So it looks like there is a new creature. That's kind of what I'm getting here is some new creature. The Last Leviathan. Wishlist the DLC now. Interesting. Well, Wandering Village, that is one that like I said, I reviewed it. I did have a pretty favorable look on it where having like that kind of city sim with a limited landmass on the back of a creature, and then you're kind of like trying to guide the creature and direct them. So having a new creature that can probably get different storylines, different terrain, it does leave some interesting concepts open for that. So a DLC for that, I would like to see, what kind of direction they're taking that in.
Croakwood is a relaxed and creative town building simulation game about frogs, nature, and an ancient forest.
Looking to put down roots in this lovely town. Oh, okay. So you get requests for people wanting to move in, and you have to build something to their specifications?
Ground up with an abundance of customization options. Guide the growth of a community of tiny amphibians. Explore an old and mysterious forest. Manage the economy as the townsfolk gather and craft each resource by hand.
Okay, and seeing something like this, like this is I wish I had the time and the resource to go ahead and devote to more variety, like to a higher variety of these games, because there's so many games out there that look like they would be a genuinely good time to just spend hours and hours in discovering like what they put in them, what kind of environments and storylines they have, because we all love a good storyline and a good relaxed setting.
Hi, Wholesome Direct. I hope you all are able to find a moment to check in with yourselves today.
And the Croakwood, like that does look like something that I would very much enjoy playing, but I just don't see myself having the time for it.
Building community. Our space focuses on warm energy, continual awareness, and the belief that there is strength in vulnerability. Up next, a poetic platformer about a boy, a fawn, and their unique bond.
A platformer. Oh, that is adorable. Okay, I've seen a couple of these platformer games where the theme of it is basically you're playing as kind of two characters. Maybe they have some different abilities to help. Oh, and the fawn's growing up. So this takes place over a span of time as you advance the game. Dear and boy. But yeah, I've seen games like this before where they have these kind of platforming, like these story-driven, character-driven platformers that kind of use the environment and the levels to tell the story, as opposed to having like your traditional cutscenes and character dialogue and stuff. Everything is very much emotionally driven towards these characters, and it looks like they have a nice little experience there. So if this is the kind of thing, for people that maybe liked, oh gosh, what are some of those titles? I haven't played a lot of these kinds of platformers, but I have seen some where like you play as two brothers, or one where you play as a small human and a larger creature that they're traveling with, and you basically have to control the two of them to sort of puzzle solve the levels a little bit. But definitely something for the people that enjoy those games. Kind of reminds me of the Deer Fox from Hilda.
Over to Steam for the official Wholesome Direct event. You can show your support for your favorite games in the showcase by adding them to your wish list.
Hey Wholesome Direct, I'm Evelyn and I go by Gap Smolders online. My YouTube channel is a weird mix of wholesome games, horror games, puzzle games, and it somehow works. I also stream on Twitch, and some of my favorite days there are the ones where a chat and I work together on hidden object games or anomaly games. If you've been waiting patiently for the next game announcement, your wait is over. It's a world premiere.
Will you lock up? Okay, they're cutting through the text like pretty fast, so it's, unless I were to pause it, you really wouldn't be getting the much of it there.
Patience is a Virtue is a mystery puzzle game about communicating with people you don't understand. Chronically ill college grad Lewis has just moved back home, but this time, everything seems different. After encountering a mysterious entity that communicates only through a cassette player, Lewis must consult with it and the townsfolk to discover the truth.
There's plenty more to explore in Mossford, so get out there and get looking.
All right, this one I'm kind of getting the impression of being kind of a narrative driven, almost visual novel. I don't know if that's necessarily the most accurate description here, but that's kind of the impression I'm getting from this. Kind of similar to oh gosh, there was another game that I had reviewed and then played. A Year of Springs, I think it was called. Yeah, the Year of Springs, where you're kind of playing into the characters' stories, getting their dialogues, making the little options in there to. Although that one is less mystery driven, this one seems to be a bit of a more involved narrative where you're trying to figure out what is going on in there. The art, I don't know, the art doesn't quite hit right for me. Not this now. I'm not saying that it's bad art. I don't want to be throwing that out there. Um, it's just something that makes it like a little difficult for me to digest with how I'm expecting like it doesn't seem to match the tone that I think I'm getting here. It does have the wholesome vibe to it and it has like its own personality. Um but I feel like for me personally the art doesn't really match that mystery aesthetic. And then the main thing with it was a lot of that text was flashing across the screen so fast it didn't really give me time without pausing to go and like read what all the dialogue was happening on screen to get my hints at the story. So as far as the trailer presentation goes, it needs to slow down a little bit for that. Oh, another little room designer?
Is a cozy magic game where you
Design and
create,
conjure, okay.
decorate, and build scene by scene.
Okay, so another game that's kind of like unpacking with those room designer levels.
Restoring a magical hometown one space at a time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. For people that like unpacking, this game is for you, obviously. I can tell just by this little bit of the trailer.
Set up camp, unpack magical picnics, and arrange your perfect spot beside a flowing waterfall. With 1,500 plus items and a brand new creative mode, a fresh demo is available now. Explore a world of wonder in our next game, a farming sim about reigniting the long-lost friendship between humans and dragons. Here's the exclusive release date reveal for Dragon Shelter.
Dragon Shelter? I haven't heard of this one. Oh, another one that's giving me like the visual, kind of like the visual style of Fae Farm again. But this time, an emphasis on dragons instead of Fae. Oh, and there's like multiple dragons. They got different elementals. Townsfolk with your dragons. Oh my gosh, the dragons are chefs. Okay, so the trailer is showing us two distinct dragons here. This one's going on my list to keep an eye on. Dragon Shelter. So, first note, I hope there's more than two dragons. We're only seeing two here. I'm hoping that that's maybe like the early gameplay where it's very clearly a water dragon and a fire dragon where each one has their own skills that kind of help with farming and the town and everything in their own way. Interesting little dynamic there. I appreciate it. It has the kind of similar visual style to Fae Farm, which that one did take a little bit to grow on me before I really started to appreciate the direction it was going. But it does look like with the dragons in there and how they're going about this game, I can see the value and the impressions that we're going for here. This one is definitely going on my radar to keep an eye on. Says it's coming September 24th. Hopefully there's not too much of any kind of like delay or issues with that one, because I would like to see this one have some success just based on the trailer here.
Hi, Wholesome Direct. I'm Kiwis and Stars, and I love deeply rich narrative-based games that pull on our heartstrings. A lot of the times, that looks like me playing games that make me cry on stream, or where I can smooch attractive characters, but overall, I just love the emotional journey that video games can take us on. Influence the life you lead through the objects you choose to keep in this decorating game that's out right now.
Every life with small choice begins with small choices. Okay. Oh. All right. Already I'm very much getting the impression of unpacking all over again. Which as simple and concise as unpacking was, it was a very good game. Decisions ripple across a lifetime. A life shaped by the things you keep. Memento. And it's out now, out now on Steam, comes to console at the end of this month. Okay. So Memento is, like I said, very very much looks similar to Unpacking. But instead of like uncovering or like learning about the character story, it looks like this one has you more guiding the character's life story. So for people who loved Unpacking, it looks like another game very similar in theme and impressions is coming out.
I'd love to also take a moment to highlight these wonderful co-hosts who have fostered welcoming and engaging communities through their love of wholesome and cozy games. A huge thank you to our co-hosts for being a part of this year's show.
Let's see. Oh. You just want to ride the bike, don't you? Heck yeah, I do. Let's go. Wind in our hair. Oh, okay, that... Oh, my... Some old in pixel-powered slice-of-life story about growing up. Corporate intrigue. Our partner's upcycling facility. Okay. Oh, danger. Oh, is that a Digivice? That is a Digivice. Greetings, Callie. Mini games. Shocking new surprises. Pedal Runner 2026 wishlist on Steam. That is going on my radar. Pedal Runner. It very much has like, now graphically speaking, it does look more advanced. Like it looks more detailed and more vibrant than a Game Boy game, but it looks very much like it is inspired by the aesthetic of Game Boy games, like Game Boy Color and early Game Boy Advance. So for fans of those kinds of games, but who want maybe like a bit more of a modern narrative take on things, I could see that being an incredibly good experience right there from Nanopark Studios. I am bit Nanopark Studios apparently. So Pedal Runner, this is one when as we get that's gonna get wishlisted. I'm gonna keep my eye out to see when it's coming out. Maybe we'll get a judging by the cover review for this one too as it gets closer to its release. Overall, it does look like it has some incredible charm. The flashes of the 2D animation, like they're nice, but they almost feel I don't know, when it jumps between that and the pixels presentation, like the actual gameplay pixel presentation, it feels a little jarring, but it's not necessarily the worst thing. It does allow it to kind of flesh out the characters a little bit visually, like you might see in like an old Game Boy instruction manual or something, where because they're going to show more than just your pixelated characters in there.
Hi, Wholesome Direct. I'm Yepany Doodles, an illustrator and miniature clay artist. I encourage others to explore creative hobbies through my clay
Oh
YouTube
my
videos
gosh,
and my
it's
Game
the
of Art
Mossy
poetry space on
Snorlax.
Twitch called the Bunny Space Station.
She crafted a
Our
Mossy
community's motto
Snorlax.
is rest and self-care are productive. With that same restorative energy in mind, find your footing and open a tea house in this low-stress game about returning home. The best
Open
part
a tea
is you can give
house?
the demo a try today.
I can be Uncle Iroh?
Hi, I'm Lynn. I'm Felicia.
And I'm Brian.
We're the founders of Como the Rich, and this is our very first game, Froggy Brews, a cozy adventure game about a frog serving tea. Our demo drops today on Steam. So
I can be
come on,
Froggy
gamers.
Iroh? Froggy Brews. Target practice. Convince him. And finally, she would have loved me. Oh. Oh, wow. Those are some nice little photo gallery situations right there. Okay. Froggy Brews. Another one that looks like it's having some incredibly adorable impressions going on here. Although, so the environment and character designs kind of remind me of Sunseed Isle, where I really wasn't feeling it. The characters like animation, like the character design looks fine, but the characters animations felt kind of stifled a little bit. Now maybe my impressions are a little off blown there just because this is a very short trailer that we're seeing for that. It's very possible that the rest of the game blows it out of the water. And again, that's just my impression of the environments and the character running around. The other stuff to it, the character interactions do look more fleshed out. Serving the tea with the added variety of different cups, saucers, and everything else does look like it has some depth to it. There's probably bonuses for giving the visual presentation that matches the tea and the flavor better. Um, if I were to just kind of make some guesses for how the gameplay goes, hopefully there is like a little bit of that visual aesthetic to it that makes it matter what cups you serve in. It looks good and might be a little hard for me to get into, like I said, because of that visual style. But that's again not to put down the developers, not to put down anybody that does like the visual style. It I'm it's got its audience. It does look incredibly charming and cozy.
Hello, Wholesome Games. We are Mel and India from Frontier.
And we're so excited to be here today to show you Planet Zoo 2, the sequel to one of our most beloved games.
Planet Zoo 2 is a charming and cozy sandbox
Planet
game
Zoo
where you
2.
can
Oh, wow.
create and manage your very own zoo.
Today, we want to give you an exclusive look at the grey wolf, just one of the incredible animals in our game, each behaving and reacting in natural and authentic ways. And for the first time, flying and fully aquatic species join your zoo.
Now it's time to take a closer look at our grey wolf. Let's place down an enrichment item and see what happens. Oh no, we woke one of the pups.
That's just one example of a range of new natural responses that you will see from your animals. Speaking of natural, this habitat looks incredible. Mel, can you tell us how you put this together?
I wanted it to feel like a cozy nook for our wolves, so I made this autumnal forest as the setting for their habitat. The terrain tools make it easy to adapt your zoo according to your animal's needs.
Look at them drinking and swimming. We should also add more enrichment for our wolf pups to play with. They have a lot of energy.
And this is only the beginning. With the help of our ready-made blueprints and a huge variety of individual scenery pieces, Planet Zoo 2 offers you so much creative freedom where you can build the zoos and aquariums of your dreams. We can't wait for you to jump in.
Okay, so Planet Zoo 2, I know I give a lot of positive impressions on here, and I'm just going to say that this one, visually speaking, it looks like they leaned a little too heavily in the realism for what I might go for this. Although, I will say the realism and the environmental design of it does look good. I do appreciate the work that went into it, and especially trying to give the critters, the animals, like very lifelike and realistic reactions and behaviors. That that's quite a ways that is quite a feat to pull off with having to program those routines into your animals. Now they did highlight a lot about the wolf. um I would like to see maybe a little more depth go into the other animals to see that they have that same level of attention and care going into the rest of them. um for people who like those kinds of like zoo simulators, or for people that maybe back in the day would have been playing Zoo Tycoon or those kinds of games, it looks like this would be a natural progression of those styles of games for people that look for those sorts of experiences. Again, maybe not something that I'm going to be keeping my eye on, although I wouldn't mind seeing a little bit more, seeing like how they flesh out everything else outside of the wolves. But I do also appreciate that they do have that level of creativity and expression for the people that this game is made for. Because again, just because it's not my cup of tea doesn't mean that it does not have merit. I can absolutely see the value in this and the audience that it would have. And I hope that the people that this is for do get a lot out of it, because it looks like there was some real attention that went into it.
Once again, a huge thank you to these teams whose support made today's show possible.
All those who are lost. Oh! Oh, Cozy Grove. I know I've made the comparison to Cozy Grove a couple of times already. So why are they talking about Cozy Grove? Is it getting an expansion or a sequel? Cozy Grove Camp Spirit. Okay, Camp Spirit. So it's a new game? Okay, Cozy Grove Camp Spirit demo out now on Steam and Xbox. Pre-orders on Switch and Xbox, and it comes out July 15th. Um, Now I have played Cozy Grove, but I don't know if maybe I just didn't play enough of it to really appreciate it, or if it just didn't click for me. But this one, Camp Spirit, I'm not from this trailer, I'm not really seeing what's new here. I'm sure look if I go and look at the Steam page, I'll get more information. Maybe they'll actually highlight what's new over the original game. But this trailer I'm not getting a lot of sense for what is new about it.
The developers of our next game have been hard at work since its early access launch in 2024. And now, with the help of its active player community, they're back to cut the ribbon on version 1.0. We're also excited to announce it's coming to Nintendo Switch and Switch 2. Welcome back to Go-Go Town.
All right, and this one's getting oh.
Let's go take a look and see. Could it be a bustling high street, or perhaps a sense of community? Maybe it's the wondrous sights attracting tourists of every variety. Well, no matter what it is, your town is far from it.
Oh, wow.
Roll up your sleeves, Mayor, and get to work.
So you're playing as a character down and doing a SimCity. So basically like a SimCity with an avatar, or like Pokopia. Oh, those are some interesting townspeople.
Make this town your own. Make this town your home. Make this town for them. Make this town productive again. So, what makes a perfect town? Well, I'll leave that one up.
Okay. Available July 16th. I know first reaction was okay, kind of like Pokopia, where you have your player avatar going and restoring the town and stuff, bringing in townspeople. Except instead of Pokemon, it's like the human characters to live and work in the town. Although I think that might have been maybe a little bit of a jump. Like I might have jumped the gun on that one. Maybe I feel like I'm getting more impression of the 2 Point games, like 2 Point Hospital, 2 Point Campus, 2 Point Museum, because it looks like the town does have that kind of very goofy vibe to it. So I could see it appealing to those kinds of like management and city management and running and building kind of games. Um, Probably another one that I'm not really going to give a second look at, but then again, that might just be in part because of the kind of impression that I got from those games too. I can't see the game having I know I keep saying I've been saying about just about every one of these games that I can see the value in it. So the people that do like the 2 Point games and things that have like that goofy spin on your management and simulator games, you got something to look forward to.
Hi, Wholesome Direct. My name is Marty, and I create content mainly around low stress gaming. Although when I first started out, that wasn't always the case. My community now is a space for people who love story driven games, life sims, co working, and immersive reading sessions. I especially love sharing gameplay on games that allow you to slow down, build something meaningful, and just exist in a more intentional space. Speaking of, coming up next is a solar punk MMO about building a more sustainable world together.
Solar Punk MMO as opposed to a steampunk. Oh my gosh, that's adorable.
With friends, both new and old, and building a more sustainable future together.
So it's another MMO.
Neighborhoods across a variety of floating islands as you craft, decorate, farm, and adventure alongside friends. Express yourself through a wide range of character customization and home decoration options, and collaborate on community projects and adventures to help the world flourish and grow.
Loftia Beta.
After an exciting closed beta period, we don't have to wait long for more. Loftia is coming fall 2026.
Okay, so Loftia is on its way. I think I have actually seen that title pop up in some discourse and some eShop stuff before. So it's not like although I am mostly blind to what we're looking at here. The idea of like just building on the floating islands is a pretty cool concept there. I don't know how I feel about the MMO aspect of it for this. It does seem like the setting. Now, I don't know if this is just me. It did feel a little cluttered with how many players are in there. Now, don't get me wrong. I love community-based games, but the MMOs, I don't know. I feel like back in the day, everything wanted to be an MMO. So I'm wondering if like that might be a little ambitious. What kind of player base we're expecting out of that? I could see maybe myself preferring more of a kind of setting where you have a single player world that you invite friends to, or maybe like lobbies with a certain number of additional players. But it does look like it has. We did see another one of those earlier. Spirit Crossing was that other one at the beginning of the direct that had kind of a similar thing to it, where they were boasting it as an MMO. Um, Honestly, I would like to see it succeed. I would like to see people having fun with it because somebody put a lot of work into this and really wanted the vision to come out. I don't know. Maybe I'm just skeptical about MMOs lately. Tales of Seikyu. Probably not to be confused with other Tales of games. Coming June 11th. Oh, that's real soon. So Tales of Seikyu, it's another farming sim. Oh! You transform. So this one's got some cool spirit aspects to it. Oh, some combat too? Okay. June 11th, 2026. Oh, and it's currently out in early access, but 1.0 comes out on June 11th. So if you haven't seen this and you're interested, this might actually be the best time to go ahead and get in there. You know, wait a week, get it on launch, or if you want to get a little bit of an early start, I don't know how much early access is going to carry over. I imagine it probably carries over just fine for the most part. I know a lot of times they have those things. I'm going to go ahead and put this down to kind of look at later. Tales of Seikyu. The way they had like some animal characters in there, and the way you had your character transforming and using some magic, it did kind of remind me of Fae Farm, just with a bit more of a like without the chibi art aesthetic, giving it a more traditional or anime style modeled character. So this looks like it'd be another interesting little experience.
Don't forget, if you'd like to pick up this year's Wholesome Direct 2026 shirt designs, created in collaboration with the Yeti, visit wholesomegames.com. In addition to being a great keepsake for this year's show, a portion of each shirt sold will benefit Transgender Law Center, a trans-led organization.
Okay, I think I am actually going to cut down some of these mid segments to try and focus on the game presentation. Not to say that there's not some value in here. Like, I absolutely appreciate that they are promoting their causes and everything. They want to make sure that their communities are taken care of. But they are
visit wholesomegames.com.
This is like what, the third or fourth time they've gotten the t-shirts on screen. Build your village. Okay, another one that's kind of giving me that Cozy Grove graphic style. Spiritstead. Unlock quirky yet helpful spirits. Flumbo, Misric. Build a thriving community. Huh. So Spiritstead. This is another one. I know I just said it kind of reminds me of Cozy Grove, and I think visually, at least, it very much fits that. It fits that pretty well. Although I do like that it seems to have more characters, like a more vibrant livelihood about the territory, and more of a kind of like expanding your town kind of situation. Honestly, I feel like playing something like this would be probably something that I would enjoy more than Cozy Grove.
Hello everyone, my name is Patrick and I run the channel Nintentalk here online. On my channel, we cover the latest and greatest cozy games, especially those that appear on Nintendo consoles, Pokopia, Tomodachi Life, Animal Crossing, even after 6 years. I also co-host a podcast called the Slow Burn Podcast, which appears every Wednesday on every streaming platform. But enough of that. A new life awaits in our next game, a popular life sim with a special announcement to unpack today.
Okay, popular life sim, what do we got? Paralives. Oh! I've actually seen people talking about this one. Paralives. It's had some mixed reception, I think, because of its price point at early access. Let's see if the announcement has something here. Wait. Paralives cross unpacking? What? Collab exclusive items? What is this? Wait a minute. Free unpacking themed update out now with a Steam bundle available. Okay, that is genuinely cool. Now, I know I just said that Paralives seemed to have had some mixed reception. Again, I think it mostly came from the price point about it. I haven't looked too much into it. I took a brief look at the store page. And it's like, okay, it looks like it's kind of like an interesting little life sim, but for the price, I wasn't sure if I was gonna have the time or get the sense of value out of it. Um, but having that little unpacking crossover, that's kind of a cute little nod for that game. I know I've even mentioned unpacking a couple of times during this showcase.
Hello, Wholesome Direct. I'm Nimbly, your high-fem comforting friend and lore keeper. I love all things earthly and ethereal, creating trauma-sensitive and comforting spaces for gamers of all backgrounds, and I'm so honored to be an official co-host for the Wholesome Direct for the second year in a row. In our next game, a peaceful summer day is interrupted by a flood. Let's take a look at the premiere.
The warm sun shines down on Moomin Valley. Oh, Moomins. Okay, I've seen a little bit of discourse around the Moomins too. Soon it will be time for Midsummer. The Midsummer Moomins, I think it was called. Look at the mountain went out of the blue. Oh. Till they discover a mysterious house. Oh, a theater. And they're merry friends. Moomin Midsummer Madness coming 2026. Okay. So it's another game that I have like no exposure or experience to, this the Moomin property. But I have seen the name pop up a couple of times in conversation in online discourse. I don't know enough about it to give much of a judgment one way or another, but it does look like it has like that storybook charm. Definitely has its audience there.
Let's take a deep breath together. It's time for one of my favorite Wholesome Direct traditions, the montage. These
Ooh, montage.
will go by quickly, but remember, you can find the fullest of titles after the show at wholesomegames.com. Now here we
All right. Rapid fire. Humblets. Oh, it has like some card fusion stuff to it. Wait, it has a TCG battles? Okay, that's kind of... All right, Spiriki. Your very own tiny island. Waterfall. Rubber bird. Whoa, what? What the heck is this physics nonsense with rubber bird? I am so concerned for that little bird. Hella of Mice and Magic. Little Cheeseworks. Oh my gosh, there's another one of those multiplayer co-op things. Toem 2. Oh, interesting. Otterly Lost. Favorite rocks. Oh my gosh, because every otter has to have its favorite rock, right? Walk the Frog. Oh, it's a puzzle game where you put together the stages to give the frog a path. Japanese rural life adventure. Huh. March 4th, new play rewards. Tiny delivery. Oh my gosh, you're a little delivery bot. Okay, that's pretty cute. That one's giving Untitled Goose Game vibes. Hoko Spaces. Oh. And that one is giving Animal Crossing vibes. In a good way. Not in a way that's like, oh my gosh, it's a ripoff. It looks like it does have some charm there. Like, plenty to set up its own identity and everything. Wild Chorus? Sometimes just the comparison is like the easiest way to kind of click in the brain for what to expect there. Anna Marie? Okay, Anna Marie is giving kind of like that unpacking vibe where you're going along the character's life and learning as you go. Colorbound. Oh. Fossil Quest. Excavate fossils. And create exhibits. Oh. Ooh. For your dream museum. So like 2-point museum, but with less of the silliness to it. Danchi Days. Another one with like that. Oh, Pelican Post. Some of these things have like more of that Game Boy Advance kind of aesthetic to it. Honestly, Pelican Post looks like it would be very, very relaxing. Papaya Plaza. All right, so this town building is Papaya Plaza. Huh.
We've reached the end of this year's Wholesome Direct, but the fun doesn't stop here. Be sure to head on over to Steam to support the teams and games shared in this showcase.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up here for my final impressions here. Wow, I wrote down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I wrote down 10 games out of this showcase, out of everything that they've shown here, for things that I'm probably going to be adding to my wish list just to kind of keep on my radar, things that kind of sparked my interest. I may be keeping an eye out for their release days to see if I can get some judging by the cover reviews done for the games properly. For this showcase itself, now, there were games that absolutely caught my eye. There were games that I have already reviewed that look like they got some updates that seem pretty eye-catching, things that would improve my impressions from those former reviews. There were a couple of games that like I've played Unpacking and the Unpacking tie-in to the other game. And then Fields of Mystria getting an update. I have played Fields of Mystria. In fact, I do have that series on YouTube here. It is currently now the game itself was not 100% completed, but my run of it was completed up to the point of where the releases were at for that. So I am looking forward to that 1.0 review. So as far as the games go, I really appreciate the games themselves and what got showcased here. Now, for a review and a breakdown of the presentation here. Now, I do not want to be overly critical because I do not want any criticism to be misconstrued as an attack or a slight or an offense towards these promoters, these developers, and these content creators that put their faces out there, they put their communities out there, and they put their work out there for the world to see, because all of them, they cultivate their communities, they craft their games, and they put together their networks with such care and adoration for their crafts. And I respect that. So any criticisms that I have here, I just want to front end this with a matter of these are my opinions on how the information is presented. The communities and what they promote and what they stand for, I absolutely stand by. I want to see people feel safe and feel an ability to and feel like they're able to connect to other players and to foster these communities with an acceptance and an appreciation for each other. So that said, making it very clear, there is nothing in here that I want. There's nothing here that is meant as any kind of attack on anybody shown in this entire showcase. The only thing that I feel like we have going, like the only real criticism I have maybe is the how to mind. I'm also putting these thoughts together like on the fly. So for anybody watching the video, that's why there's kind of like this little stutter here. The creators, they do have total reign over how they go ahead and lead in the presentations. And I actually do like how each game showcase got a lead up from a content creator that streams or does videos or promotes those kinds of games. Um I'm not sure that I'm a big fan of the presentation style of a like a new person popping in for every single game. But then again, that might also just kind of be coming from maybe I'm just a little spoiled from how I've seen Nintendo Directs. Again, like nothing against any of the content creators. I honestly have not seen or known that any of them existed before this. I don't know that I'm going to necessarily have the time to go and track them all down and to give them the follows and the appreciation that I'm certain they absolutely deserve because the content creators out there, whether you're watching this channel or their channels or any other channel, and by the way, if any of you content creators that were in this wholesome direct, if any of you actually see this, you know, all the all the love out to you guys. You guys do great work. Um, it's more of a thought of maybe my brain's a little spoiled where they have that kind of in-depth, hi everybody, this is me kind of thing. But at the same time, I guess I can't really be too critical of that either because the whole thing with the wholesome games and those content creators is that the point of it is the community aspect. Even though most of the games shown here appear to be single player with no multiplayer aspect whatsoever, the games and the experiences that they deliver bring people together. And ultimately, I get the impression that that is the message those content creators push. And the fact that Wholesome Games partnered with these creators to go ahead and push that message as heavily as they did go a long way to emphasize that community aspect. So I know I kind of went back and forth on that one where it's like I might not personally be a fan of that presentation style, but I value I value the intent behind it. Um, Probably the only other thing that I would really criticize is how much the wholesome games went and inserted what was basically like a little ad break. Nothing against what they're now again. I have nothing against what they're advertising. They, in fact, the fact that the ad breaks were their own creations, like their t-shirts, their programs and everything like that. Those are the kind of things they should absolutely promote. I think it's just a matter of how much they promoted repeatedly throughout the direct. There was like 3 or 4 separate of the t-shirt pushes for the same t-shirt, same presentation, like the video clip was taken and then dropped in between a couple of games where they didn't have extra content creators in there to do the lead in. Um, Not saying that find another content creator to slip in there, but they maybe could have like truncated it a little bit, be like, hey, be sure to check this out, or showcase a different shirt or a different upcoming event in each of those breaks. I think that's just something that I would personally have advised maybe a little differently if I were putting it together. But remember, first off, this is like just kind of the opinion field here. I still, like I said, I cannot emphasize enough how much I respect and admire the community and the promotion and the sense of inclusion that they embody as an organization, as content creators, and how they come together to promote these things that they love and that the developers have worked so hard on. Even the games that were in there that I look at them and I'm like, yeah, no, this game's not for me. Because there were a few of those. I mentioned a couple of times how one of them, the sound effects alone just kind of annoyed me. But at the same time, I can still look at it and appreciate the work and the love that the developer puts into it. Just because it's not for me does not mean that it is without merit. It has its audience, it has the people that are going to love and adore what they did. The whole thing was, and especially because we know it has an audience. It's a sequel that they're promoting here. So that said, honestly, I'd say, very positive 8 out of 10 on the presentation. Like I said, I think the main thing that got me was when they're promoting the organization and their T-shirts and stuff. They just need to like maybe make some variety in those promotions so that it doesn't look like we're seeing the same commercial multiple times in the same showcase. Considering like we're gonna. I see something like this, I am going to sit down and watch it from start to finish like we did just now. That said, again, Wholesome Games, I appreciate everything you have going on here, even the things where it's like, you know what? It's not exactly my kind of game. I look forward to several of these games on release. Like I know Fields of Mystria, I do want to start a new series for that one once we hit that 1.0 release. There are a couple of other games in there. Tales of Seikyu looks like it might have some interest. Dragon Shelter and Milky Delivery. I might actually give the demo of Milky Delivery a try. We'll take a look at that. But I do have the ones that I'm going to be adding to my wish list, seeing what might end up as a short video, short series, or what games might end up. I'm keeping an eye out for when a full release comes out. Until then, this has been Judging by the Cover. Remember, again, the views that I express here, they are my opinions, and I very much welcome the other opinions and the other input from you people out there in YouTube, on Twitch. I would like to see, what you guys think, what you are looking forward to from these showcases, and maybe there's some similar tastes, maybe there's some different tastes, maybe you think I'm full of shit, maybe you think this review show that I do is completely dumb since I'm basically reviewing things that I haven't played. But overall, for everybody there at Wholesome Games and all the content creators and the game developers, I wish you all the best. I wish you all the best of comments, the like ratios, the subscriber counts, the game sales. I do want to see indie developers like this flourish because honestly, it's games like these that offer a better price point, an excellent value, and some truly artistic experiences that a lot of other like major studios I feel like miss out on. Now, there are also very engaging and artistic things that do come from main studios, but seeing things like this, I can't wait to see more. So again, Wholesome Games, I'm adding a lot of this stuff to my radar.